I wonder what carries I'd consider to be good this Stygian Onslaught, and which carries I'd consider to be bad. Should we tier list time for this Stygian Onslaught? I don't want to do an overall tier list, but I don't really mind the idea of doing a, like, for this one only tier list. Kenichi Skirk, that's it? I don't think so. I think Kenichi is good, but there's a lot of characters that are pretty similar. Kenichi is far from the only one that's good on Lava Dragon, and because of that, I don't think he's anywhere near Skirk. Oh, I'm definitely not. But let's do it, honestly. Okay. We're going to talk about relevant units only. So we want to talk about MC. We want to talk about Amber. What a start, by the way. What a fucking start to my list of units I want to talk about. We want to talk about MC. We want to talk about Amber. I don't think we need to talk about Sucrose, because she's good, but she's not, like, particularly relevant in the sense that, like, you can use her, but whether or not you have her will not really change whether or not you can clear. I only want to talk about the very impactful characters, basically. Same for something like KO, where, like, he is part of my best Skirk team because of the automaton's, like, cryo requirement. Bennett, obviously. Changeling, obviously. Flea we can talk about. Yep. Ganyu, sure. We can talk about Aika. We could talk about Raiden, but I don't know. Like, when Raiden is able to clear Lava Dragon, it's not because of Raiden, it's because of Changeling. So I don't think she's that worth talking about. We can talk about Shenhe. We can talk about Nahida. We can talk about Alhaitham. We can talk about Risley. We can talk about Farina. I guess we... Meh. No. We can talk about Shalars, obviously. We can talk about Arlecchino. We can talk about Clement. We can talk about Emily. We can talk about Kenichi. Talk about Moika, we can talk about Citlali. We can talk about Veressa. We can talk about Escoffier, Skirk. I think that's it. We can talk about Milani too, I guess, but... Okay, so... I think the most impactful unit on current Stygian Onslaught is Skirk. There isn't a single unit that you will necessarily need to clear. But I think that the biggest gap between accounts is whether or not they have Skirk. Escoffier more? No, actually. I'd rather do a Skirk clear without Escoffier than an Escoffier clear without Skirk. The fact that the Cryo Automaton has minus 30 Cryo Res to begin with means that Shred is not as necessary to Skirk's teams, and Cryo teams that run Escoffier benefit less from Escoffier's Shred. Escoffier is still high, don't get me wrong, because it is still clearable with crowd carries if you have Escoffier. But she's not as high as Skirk. But yeah, Escoffier is going to be probably in the second highest tier. Along with the other characters that are really, really good and going to make a massive difference, like a fucking 30-second plus difference in your clear time, but that you can technically clear without. And those characters are Bennett Changeling. Against both Tulpa and Lava Dragon, you want Bennett and Changeling on both, and if you... The enemy that doesn't have them is going to struggle more. But honestly, I think Skirk is the only carry that would go in my first two tiers. Because you just have so many options for carries, and for different teams, against Tulpa and Lava Dragon, that while Kenichi is arguably the best one, he just feels so much less necessary to be able to get a good clear. But Kenichi would probably be the highest after that. Probably along with Moika, Arlecchino, Chevreuse, Emily. Nahida A, no. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think most people are good enough to clear with Hyper Bloom unless they also have Alhaitham. the clear speed with on-field Nahida with Hyperlink, like, it's very doable. Most accounts that have Nahida will be able to do it, but most players will not. I did it with Burgeon. Yeah, I mean, Burgeon is basically the same as Hyperbloom against Tulpa. The main issue with Burgeon usually is that Pyro fucks with your Dendro Aura on enemies, and you lose blooms because of that. But you never have a Dendro Aura against Tulpa, so it's fine. Anyways, next is going to be the characters that are helpful, but either if they're a carry, they're not one of the best possible ones, or if they're a support, they're a relatively situational option that is more so like a unit you can use if you don't have Banana Channeling available than a unit you actively want to use. So that's like Verissa, Nahida, Alhaitham, Seatlali, Yonsan. Yeah, maybe I should have Yonsan in here as well. I don't know where I'd put her, though. I don't want to think. Sure, she can go here. No Shilonen. I don't think Shilonen is that good. Shilonen is pretty much only good for Mawika. I guess he's fine for Arlecchino, too, but, like... Yeah, sure, we can put Shilonen here, too. Whatever. Navia needs Shilonen. Well, you may have noticed that Navia's not here, either. So we can add a few rows. Keep in mind, right, if a character is in this list to begin with, it's because they're good this Stygian Onslaught, right? I'm just trying to rank them in terms of importance because I think a lot of people are... Okay. Everyone knows how, like, team-specific Stygian Onslaught is if they've tried it. But I think a lot of people are too tunneled into what the optimal teams are and the fact that they don't have those units and aren't thinking about alternatives that are still pretty good. Which is why I want to talk about this, right? Could argue see Lily and at least B, but she's not the only unit you can use. That's the thing. But like, maybe you can argue she goes here, but then you probably want to put Nahida here as well, and now the tier is so fucking bloated and I don't like it. I wouldn't put Nahida higher than Verissa. It sounds to me like you own Seatlali. I do, but I didn't use her for Tulpa. What did you use for Tulpa? I think Shilonen is actually lower because her Cinder City buff for liability is low to non-existent against Tulpa. Yeah, but you don't put her on Cinder City against Tulpa. Put her on Instructor. But yeah, the main reason why I have Skirk here is because, unironically, if out of Skirk's like optimal team for this Stygian Onslaught, which is Skirk, Escoffier, Shenhe, Farina. If you have Escoffier, Shenhe, Farina, you might still not be able to clear. Like, you'll also probably need Ayaka. But if you outright just have Skirk, it's pretty much doable. It's because if you don't have... It's because you don't have Ridley or Ayaka. If you have Escoffier with them, it's more doable than Skirk without Escoffier. You need to understand that you're comparing 2 5-stars to 1 5-star. Will it be easier? I guess. But is it still doable with Skirk and 3 4-stars? Yeah, it is. With Risley, with Ganyu, you need to have Escoffier and you need to have Farina. It's not even 2 instead of 1, it's 3 instead of 1. Skirk can clear difficulty 5 with only 4 stars, are we sure? My Finale of the Deep Gallery set is like complete fucking garbage. And I did a clear where my only 5-star character was Yelan. With my garbage ass set. So, would have been completely fine if it was an okay set. Because obviously my only good set for Skirk is my Magical Sleep, but I can't use Magical Sleep without Farina, right? Anyways. Like, it's not that the other crowd carries are bad, it's that you need so much more to make them work. So much more. Probably just go here. Farina probably goes here. Anyways, I think that the characters like Clara and like Molani that are able to clear Lava Dragon, but kind of require a lot more. Probably go here. Shenhe is like by far the least important part of Skirk's best team, but she is part of Skirk's best team, so. And she's useful for Ayaka. Probably makes it here too. Honestly, Klee, Amber, Pyro MC also make it here. But like, maybe a tier list format isn't the best for this, because like, these characters are not bad. These are still among the best characters in this Stygian Onslaught. They're just probably the least impactful of the good characters. Maybe we should try to do a 4-star only clear with Skirk. Well, not 4-star only, but like Skirk plus 4 stars. Is not canceling the final normal attack better than canceling it? In order for it to be better to cancel, you need to do it basically frame perfect. And over a 2-minute fight, I'm not gonna.
이 순간을 영원하게 결전에 얼어붙어라. 와라.
This is a really good start.
이건 어때? 감기 조심.
비켜. 수호를 방해하지 마세요.
얌전히 있어.
선멸한다. 힘.
No crits. That's bad.
얼어붙어라.
두려워하지 마세요.
이 순간을 영원하게.
Please be a good attack. Please be a long attack.
별의 가호.
That's great. I don't know if it's enough though.
얌전히 있어.
혹한이요.
감기 조심.
비켜. 수호를 차가운 별.
얼어붙어라.
와라. 두려워하지 마세요.
이 순간을 영원하게 만들어주지.
덤벼라. 결전의 기도. 방해하지 마세요. 힘.